Well, things certainly are different and growing so day by day. If you're into 80s movies, you'll understand my reference. One of my favorite 80s movies was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And one night, Bill and Ted were kind of bored and they were sitting out in front of the Circle K grocery store or a little snack store. And all of a sudden, a phone booth comes out of nowhere and George Carlin walks out from the future. And Bill tells Ted, "Ted, something strange is afoot at the Circle K tonight." And that's how our life kind of feels like right now, that something strange is going on. Right now, we're at a public mall where normally people would be walking about and enjoying the food court and enjoying public shopping in the heart of the city. But no one is around. It's windy, it's chilly, but it's like a ghost town. Nobody's here because we're all supposed to stay in our homes. And you know, there's a Proverbs that comes to mind right now, Proverbs 25:11. It says that a good word is like a silver apple in a golden bowl. That a good word spoken at the right time can be very critical and very encouraging and very inspiring. And right now, I believe the Word of God has some silver apples in the golden bowl that can encourage all of us during a time that is very unique in American life. So I don't know about you, but one word that I would use right now that could describe our world is that things are very shaky. It's like the earth has been shook and God is trying to get our attention. You know, sometimes when somebody's asleep and you need to wake them up, you shake them. You say, "Wake up." Is it possible that God, in His infinite mercy to a nation that has not been honoring Him and following His ways, is kind of saying, "Hey, wake up, world, wake up"? There's a verse that comes to mind that I think speaks to this very issue in the book of Hebrews chapter 12. Let me read some of these words to you. In verse 27, it says, "Once more I will shake not only the earth, but also the heavens." The words "once more" indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things, so that what cannot be shaken will remain. Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us be thankful and worship God with acceptable and reverence awe, for our God is a consuming fire. Isn't that encouraging? The idea that we believe in a God that's a consuming fire, and He calls us to worship Him. And when we're not doing that, when we as a nation have gone astray and we're not following Him like we should be, maybe, just maybe, He might be shaking up our earthly kingdom to wake us up, to say, "Hey, there is an unshakable kingdom that I am the ruler of, and I want you to be a part of my heavenly kingdom." And that is a sure thing that we can be encouraged by. You know, another word that you're hearing a lot about today is the word fear. Because when things are shook and things feel shaky, sometimes people become afraid. Recently, right here in Salt Lake City, we had an earthquake, a 5.7 on the Richter scale, and it shook our city. And some people, on top of everything else, experiencing an earthquake in Utah was so unique that fear set in our community. And you know, that word fear is another word that we need to challenge. Isaiah 41:10 gives us a great challenge when it comes to that word fear. Let me read it to you. "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. And I will strengthen you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." So even in the midst of an earthquake, or a coronavirus, or financial hardships, you and I as Christians can trust in the consuming fire of God, who has an unshakable kingdom that we do not need to fear, because He is going to uphold us in His righteous right hand. What an encouragement that is. We began this video by talking about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. and acknowledging that strange things were afoot at the Circle K tonight. Hey, things do seem a little shaky, and maybe it's easy to be afraid. But in Psalm 91, it tells us that we can take rest in the shadow of the Almighty. And the way that psalm ends is basically by asking two questions. Do you love me? And do you acknowledge my name? And if you do, I will protect you and I will save you. So in shaky times and fearful times, don't be afraid. If you follow Jesus, if you love Jesus, if you acknowledge His name, you can be comforted by knowing that He will protect you and He will walk with you, like He will with all of us who love Him and know His name.